welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Wild Heart Hustle Homestead. I'm Candy, one half of Candy and Kelly, and this is Fizz, who's sitting with me today, or rather I've kind of encroached into her sleepy time, which is fine because she does that to me all the time. So yeah, welcome back to all our new subscribers as well. Recently we've had quite an influx, which is fantastic. We're looking forward to sharing our journey with a lot more people out there that think the same way as us and that enjoy seeing us doing what we're doing. So for those of you that are new around here, just thought I'd give you a little bit of context. So we have kind of got out of the system as much as we can because we believe it's impossible to completely get out of the system. We have quit the corporate 9 to 5. I was in a corporate senior position. I was at the same organisation for 25 years and I worked my way up, and that's all I've ever known essentially. And we've quit all that and we're just trying to live life on our own terms. And also we have bought this house and the big garden that comes with it at auction, so we're mortgage free, and I'm quite proud of that fact. You know, we've worked really hard over the years. And we've got to where we are now. I know in some respects that we're privileged, but we've also worked blooming hard. And I know I keep saying that, but I've been looking back at some of our old videos recently, and to see how much progress we've made in such a short space of time has been astonishing. I'm really proud, even for all the tough times and the hard times when we're exhausted, and you know, when you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like we're getting to that point now, and we're starting to get into the really juicy parts of the new way of life. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit today, and I promise you this is going to be a short video because I do tend to go on and on and on. So today, a little bit about manifesting. And manifesting to some is about, you know, it's not all this woo-woo stuff. Sorry if you can hear a bit of noise in the background. I can hear Kel talking to Pickle out there. So yeah, manifesting, it means quite a lot to us, and it's something that I believe that we try and do regularly. And it's not, like I say, it's not all woo-woo. I don't believe that when you say you're manifesting something that you can just stay static and sit where you are and whatever you're doing in life and wherever you are in life. If you want something different, just by sitting there and manifesting, you're not going to achieve that. And what I mean by that is that I feel like we've kind of manifested this life that we're in now, because there were so many big things that led up to this point that we were, I say manifesting because it's similar to having a dream, right? We always dreamed that we'd do this. We always manifested the fact that we wanted to do this, you know, something would happen, that we'd get here and we'll be able to do what we're doing and live this life completely different, flipping the narrative and a bit alternatively, really. So manifesting to me, and I don't know what it means to other people, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear what people think about it. It's, you can manifest a thought and a dream, but you then have to put yourself in those situations and put yourself out there for you to achieve them. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably not making any sense whatsoever, but like I say, let's use me as an example. Sitting in my office job, you know, constantly working towards the end, suffering from burnout. I'm not just going to be able to sit there and say that, right, I'm going to manifest this new life. What I did do though was, when I was suffering burnout, I knew that I really wanted to change and I wanted something different. So manifesting the new life was actually putting myself out there, you know, and putting myself in the situation where I had to make changes to start putting myself in the focus and putting myself in situations and opportunities. Yeah, like you, Fizz, that the dreams could become a reality. So, for example, as I say, sitting at my corporate desk, just cracking on autopilot, dreaming about living on a homestead and living a more self-sufficient way of life and a more slower way of life and frugal living. I'm not going to achieve that just by sitting and doing what I do every single day. So what I did do, unfortunately, or fortunately you might say, I was suffering heavily from burnout and I had to take some time out to focus on myself. So I decided to resign. After a bit of time out, I resigned officially from my job. We decided to start looking for houses. We decided that we wanted to change our life. We put ourselves in the situation that we had a van, we did a bit of travelling around the UK, and we found ourselves in different situations where we were looking at different areas. Never have done that if we never decided to make that change. And that's what I mean about manifesting. So you have the thought that manifests within your head, and then you have to start doing things and putting yourself in it to actually manifest it for good. And when people say manifest, oh, manifest it, I do still manifest things. There's still stuff that I know that we're absolutely going to achieve in the future. You know, we're going to get another van. We're going to be able to get our back fence done. We're going to be able to grow so much of our land and start reducing our food shopping bills, which is 100% the goal. And to live not off grid, but as out of the matrix as we possibly can. Are you all right there, love? Yeah? You're just chilling? You're just chilling? Okay. Yeah? You carry on. So we've you carry on, I said. So we've manifested ourselves to this point, and I'm just putting good thoughts out into the ether wherever they go. I'm putting good thoughts out there that I know these things are going to come to me, but I'm not just going to sit and rest on my laurels and wait for them to come to me. I'm going to start grafting. I'm not even going to start grafting. We are absolutely grafting now for what we've achieved. And yes, I've said before, we're a little bit privileged in the fact that, you know, we've had good jobs that we've come from. We've been able to have some savings. We moved from an expensive urban area to a cheaper rural area. But those are all choices as well. So if you're sitting there and you want to get into these new things, just go out and do them. You're not going to be able to achieve anything by not changing. You've got to manifest those changes. And by manifesting, like I say, you put yourselves out. You put yourselves out your comfort zone. You put yourselves out into different areas. You put yourself out into different positions, doing different things that you've never done before. And actually it's funny because I feel like we're always on the end of burnout, because we're always exhausted because we're always doing something. Our brains never stop. That's not healthy either. So we want to get ourselves into a good position where we can start to enjoy the life, which I think we're starting to do now. And it's a funny one, because when you start changing your life and stuff like that, you know, people see especially with us, you know, people have seen the graft. We've sold our house. People think we're mad. We've sold our house. We've given up the kind of ideal corporate leadership role. We've given up all that money. We've given up our brand new car. But that's all part of our manifesting, because we wanted a different life, so we had to do completely different things. And some of those are scary, but you just put them out there. And I'm a firm believer of that. Whatever you put out into the atmosphere and the earth and the world will come back. Not just talking about karma. I'm not really talking about that in a sense, but you know, you put goodness out there and goodness will come back to you. And I'm a real firm believer of that. But, you know, all the stuff that we've done to get here, you might be watching this video as our first video and thinking, oh, well, look, this is great, you know, like you can do something like this, you know, we're living the dream, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you've not seen the whole journey, and we've documented quite a bit of that. But there was a massive amount of change, trauma, you know, sadness, all that to get to this point. And it comes down to hard work. Even though we manifested it, we had to put in such hard work to get where we are now. And yeah, what I was going to say was, you know, people see us working ourselves into the ground, working around the clock. You know, we had to, like, certain time limits to get painting done before the plasterer came back, and then we had to go to travel back home to go to an event and then come back on the same day. So it's like 6-7 hours travelling, and then you have to go and like strip all the wallpaper out because you've got this tradesman coming in. You've got to do this, we've got to clear the garden, it's miserable, it's cold, it's winter, we're living in a van. And everyone says, oh, you're working so hard, make sure you look after yourself, make sure you do this, how are you doing, all that. Can't believe how much you've done in a short amount of time. Like, you know, you're really making yourselves ill, don't do this, don't do that. And then now, we've done all that bit. Don't get me wrong, we've got a hell of a lot of hard work still to come, but we've done all that bit. And now all people think and see is that we're living the dream. And it's like, before it was, you're working too hard, you're going to make yourself ill, why are you doing that, why are you making these sacrifices, why are you giving up all this? Now it's like, you're so lucky, wish I could do what you're doing, oh, it's amazing what you're doing, oh, you're so lucky that you get to do that, you're so lucky that you don't have to go to work and do a 9 to 5, blah blah blah. It's such perception, because all that graft and hard work that led us to this point is all forgotten about. And now it's just we're so lucky. And it's quite funny, isn't it? People are funny. It's like, yeah, absolutely, we are lucky that we're in this position. But we've spent years manifesting and getting ourselves ready. And then in the last 12, 18 months, if I'm quite honest, it's been quite traumatic. probably the last 2-3 years for me, definitely. All started with the my beloved grandmother's death that I talk about a lot. Not in depth, but I know that's what I say. That was sort of a catalyst for me to think, what am I doing with my life? But that started off 2-3 years kind of, we had more bereavements in the family. I wasn't feeling good at work. I'd lost a lot of confidence. Grief took me over. It still kind of heavily weighs on me. Grief. Kelly's not been well, mentally and physically. There's been a lot of stuff going on there. We've moved to a new area. We've spent all our life savings. We sold what we assumed was our forever home and our dream house. We sold a brand new car, given up a career. When you look at all those things, it's a lot. It's absolutely a lot. So when people do say to you, you're so lucky you get to do that. Yeah, we're lucky when you look at it now on the face of it, but we have just gone through so much to get here. And that to me is what manifesting is. We always had a dream. I think I've said before, we've been together 20 years next month actually. And we've always wanted to live more rural. We've always wanted to plan out a little farm, and this is our version of that. So that small little pip of the dream that was in our brains has just developed over the years, and we got to a point where it was make or break. I know there's people out there a lot older than us. I'm 43, Kelly's 42. We was 42 when we became mortgage free, and I just thought, we haven't got kids, we've got our 2 girls, we just need to do something that makes us happy, and we've got no real big responsibilities apart from to ourselves, and we owe it to ourselves to live the life that we want to live. And we had to make all those sacrifices to get to where we are now, and we're going to be starting to really live our true lives, and we've manifested that over the years, and we've put ourselves in all these situations. I believe everything happens for a reason. We managed to get a lot of good savings behind us because we had good jobs. We managed to get a good price for our house, and we managed to release a load of equity in that. It goes back to what I said about you put out what you get. Putting goodness out there, you get goodness back. And I know, and I don't want to come across all preachy, I know there's people out there in really horrible situations, and I feel for you, but manifest and look towards the light. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it's never as bad as you think it is. You can do this. You can get through, and you can push through. On the face of it, we're living the dream right now, and I share the ups and downs. I share these videos when I'm feeling amazing. I share these videos when I'm feeling tired. I share these videos when I'm feeling down. But ultimately, you guys don't see every single thing that goes on in our life. And it has been tough. It has been blooming tough, everything that we've been doing. And I don't want any sympathy. I'm not saying it for that. Because essentially, we're living our truth. And that is what we've manifested. To be able to be free, to just create our own narrative. And, you see all these homesteady channels and everything, and they're growing their own. They're off-grid. They're doing this. They're doing that. We're not like that. I mean, the idea is to live off the land, live more slow. But I've said I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. We like all the stuff that comes with the trappings of modern life as well. It's just life is getting a bit scary out there. So, if any of this resonates with you and you like what you see, if you've got a little bit of something inside you that wants to live a little bit differently, but you still like the good stuff of the life that is we're programmed to enjoy. And I'm going to hold my hands up at that. We're programmed to enjoy a lot of this stuff, and I do enjoy it, We like a takeaway every now and then. We like to shop in Marx's every now and then. We like to kind of go out for a drive, fill the car up with petrol, go to the cinema, go for a meal. We love all that stuff. We've just got to make choices now. We're living a lot more frugally, but we're not going to give up everything and become, like 2 weirdos that live in this house that don't see anyone. We're still absolutely living our best life, but we've had to graft, and that's where the manifesting comes in, because there's so much more we want to do in our future. I've no idea at the moment how we're going to do it, when it's going to come to us. Like I said, I'm not working at the moment. Well, we're both not working. We're going to need some sort of income at some point, but I know it will come. Something always happens, especially for us. I always feel that you might get right to the bottom, and then just something always turns up and gets you where you need to be. And I quite like the idea of that. That, you know, I'm not a very religious person. I'm not a religious person really, but I believe that there is something out there that kind of guides you. And yeah, I did say manifesting was not woo woo, didn't I? But there is some woo woo bits about it. It's just the mindset, and mindset is something I always talk about. Like, as soon as you switch that, the mindset is, yeah, game changer. But I'm going to go anyway, because I just wanted to jump on quickly. We've got the builder here this week, as you know. And I just want to talk to you quickly about manifesting, because that's something that I really do believe in, and that's my take on it. I'll be interested to hear other people's take. I'm sure everyone has their own ideas about it. But I will leave you on the note that the fence is going to be done, and you will see that in the next video. But, oh, it looks amazing, by the way. I can't wait to share it. I just want to get all the bits together and show you when it's actually completely done. But for this week, a nice short one. I didn't want to bore you to tears. I've had a couple of long videos lately, but I just feel like I'm coming into my own, and I feel more confident to talk about all these different things that I believe in that, you know, are not considered really normal, I suppose. Yeah, you like talking about it, don't you, Fizz? Yes, you do. So me and Fizz are going to leave you for today. We hope you're having a good week so far. And if you do want to hype our videos, that will be fantastic. It's a new thing where you go into the comments and you can swipe over and you can hype. I've done it to a couple of videos that I watch as well, so it'd be really cool if we can start getting some hypes on our videos. And I'm not going to sit here and start begging everyone for everything, but you won't believe how much of a confidence boost it is to have. I think, you know, I know there's channels out there, they've got hundreds of thousands and even millions of followers, but in the last 28 days we've had over 100 new subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. So any engagement with the channel will be simply amazing. There's lots more to come, and I'm still going to be continuously sharing videos on a Wednesday and a Sunday. So thank you so much for joining me, and hustlers, me and Fizz will catch you on the next one. See you later.